Okay guys, we're getting ready to start another project. Today it is a golf cart, another golf cart. Yeah, you know, I did one in the past. I had a 99 Easy Go and I actually sold that cart. Came up on this one. This is what it is. I mean, it's just this one's like an 89 model. It was one of those V-drive with the coils in it. I think somebody has removed that stuff out of it. As you can see in here, the V-drive would have mounted in here, it's gone. The coils would have mounted across here, they're gone. And it's just a jumbled up mess in here. I'm switching it to a solid state cart with a controller. I've got a lithium ion battery, and I'm gonna go do a video on this, wiring it up, wiring up all the lights that's on here. Those are already on there. Wiring up those lights. It's got some lights underneath it. I'm going to wire those back up, and just go through the steps. I'm gonna get it running first, and then I'm gonna take everything off and paint the cart. I'm not leaving it this camo. This is just the way it was when I picked it up. I am gonna leave the wheels. I like those wheels. So stick around. We'll get after it. I've already got the parts and gonna get started on this thing right away. Okay guys, the first thing I want to do is test the motor. And the first step to testing the motor is making sure there's no dead shorts inside the motor. And the way you do that is you have the 4 posts here, and the top one is your A1, S2, A2, and S1. Now you have your A1 and A2, the top one and the third one down, that's your armature, and then your S2 and your S1 is your field. You want to have continuity between A1 and A2 and S1 and S2, but you don't want to have continuity between A and S. And then you want to check the post with it grounded to the body. I sanded it off right here to make sure there's nothing open in there and that everything is fine. So here's so what you do is you get your little multimeter, set it to continuity, then you touch the 2 ends together and you'll hear a beep. That means you're getting continuity. So now we're going to test the motor. We're going to test between A2, which is the very top one up here, and A1. You hear that? You got continuity. Now we test between S2 and S1. Again, we have continuity. Now we'll do A2 to S1. Nothing. That's our A2, both our A's, and then down here, nothing. Switch over to the S. Switch over to the S, I'm sorry. Nothing for that A, and nothing for that A up there. So we're good there. And then I'm gonna hold the ground here. We don't want to hear any beeping. And that means there's no open or dead shorts inside the motor. So next, we have to test the motor to see if it works. And I'll go through the steps on how to do that here in just a moment. Okay, now I'm going to test the motor to see if it works. I'm under here. I've got, this is A2. I've got it running to hot, A2. This is S1. I've got it running to ground. And then I've looped S2 and A1 together right here. I've just got this wire here, looping those two together. And then this is S2 for my power, A2 for my power, S1 for my ground. So I've got, and you always want to make sure, that you got the cart up off the ground before you shoot power to the motor, because once you shoot power to that motor, it's going to start to turn and it can knock you down, I guess. But see, this right here is going to be my hot wire right here, and I've got to take this loose from this, and that's going to be my ground. Okay, now I'm going to touch the ground. I've got the power hooked up right here, and I'm just using my little jump box. Oh, well, heck, oh, there it is. I've just got my little jump box here. I've got the power hooked up there, and now I'm just going to touch the ground. And you see the motors, the wheels are turning, and that's backwards, but it went in reverse, so the motor works. So now I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to hook everything up, because I know the motor works. There's no shorts inside the motor, so now I can go forward with putting everything in, cleaning this up, putting everything in there, and getting it running. So I've got a lithium battery, I've got the controller, I've got the 48-volt relay, I've got everything I need. I got the potentiometer for the gas pedal, for the throttle pedal. So I'll get started on that next. Stick around. Another thing I want to point out is when you're hooking those cables up to the motor, make sure you clean all the ends. That way you get a good contact to make sure everything's contacting good. I took a piece of sandpaper and I cleaned up all the ends on the cables before I done this, to make sure I had good contact to see if that motor was going to turn. You want to give yourself, when you're testing something like this, you want to give yourself the best chance for it to work. So that's what I did. So make sure you do that. Okay guys, now that I've hooked up the motor and know that it's running, it's time to, I've got the controller here, I've got the charging port, I've got everything here. I've went online and got YouTube certified. I watched a guy on there, the Solar Farmer. That dude knows his stuff. He's done a few of these conversions, and I'm going to just follow him step by step, wire this thing up and get it going. We'll see how it works. Hang around. Okay, what I got here is, this is your pot box or potentiometer, and it controls your throttle. You hook your throttle pedal up, and when you press the throttle pedal, when you press the throttle pedal, it moves this, and that in turn moves the cart. It connects to this rod right here that, as you can see, when I press the pedal, it moves that. This loop needs to mount right here. This needs to mount right here. Then the little stud there will go through the hole. You put a nut on the back side of it, and then when you press the throttle, it'll move this back, and that will make the golf cart go. So what I have to do is I'm gonna make a couple of brackets to mount here, to where I can mount this right here, and then I can hook it up. And then I've already mounted my solenoid. I've already mounted my solenoid right there. Just drill 2 holes, mount it to the front right there. And then the controller, I've drilled holes over there, and that's where I'm going to mount my controller. So let me get a couple of brackets made and get this potentiometer mounted, and then I'll show you what I did. Okay, I've got this mounted. I've got the throttle pedal hooked up. As you can see, when I press the pedal, it activates the switch. And I just made Found a piece of scrap metal, made a couple of L brackets, bolted it down, and that's it. It's working. I'm going to mount my controller right here. My solenoid's here, forward reverse switch, and then the pop box is right there. So now we're going to get started wiring. So first I'm just going to take it one step at a time like I'd seen him do on the video. The top post on this motor is A1, and that is the main power to the motor, and it's going to hook right here to B+ on your controller. And also at the same time you want another cable from B+ to this side of your solenoid. That's going to be the power to the solenoid. Okay, what we've got on the controller here is M bolts right here, comes across and bolts to the bottom of the forward reverse switch on the inside. That's the end, that's the side that slides up in the hole there. Then A2, which A2 is on the motor back here, and I've got them written down here. A2 is the third post down right there. So I've got A2 coming off of the third post on the battery, comes along here, comes up into the top of the forward reverse switch, and then on the other side I've got A2 coming over to A2 on the controller. Now that the back of the forward reverse switch cables are on, we can go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and mount it back up there, and then we'll get the rest of the wiring going. If you look closely right there if you look closely right there beside the post, you can see an S1 stamped inside the motor there. And then up here you see an S2. This pole here, this one right here is S2. This one down here on the bottom is S1. And up top you have A1, and right here is A2. And again, if you look close, it's stamped in there. That's A2. And those are your pole positions on the motor. Okay, and what I've got here is S2 goes here, S1 goes here on your forward reverse switch. Then coming off your controller, coming out of A2, you see at the top, A2 comes around here. That's your power for your controller and your motor. Then you have a wire coming off and going to your solenoid right there, coming off of the power side of your controller to your solenoid. Then your negative side, this will go straight to the battery. That's your negative side on your controller, goes straight to the battery. And then I've already covered M down there. It comes up and goes inside your forward reverse switch on the bottom pole. And then A2 comes off of here, comes around and goes inside behind on your control, on your forward reverse switch, and then it comes off the other side and goes down to the motor, to A2 on the motor. This right here, this wire comes off of here, comes all the way down, and if you see right there, goes to A2 on the motor. The A2s are tied together on the inside of your forward reverse switch. Then you come off, when you come off this side, your power comes off of this side to your solenoid, then you go to the other side of the solenoid and come off, and that goes to the battery. And then as far as your ignition switch is a blue wire and a red wire. You see them coming here, coming from the ignition switch up to here. Your red wire is going to go to the power side of your solenoid. The blue wire is going to come up here and go to the bottom part of your forward reverse switch right there. Then the top pole comes off and comes down here. Oh, got it stuck. And this will go with your power and connect directly to your battery. If it'll quit doing that. Comes from the top micro switch here and connects to your battery. Then I have a white wire here. That is your ground for your solenoid, and I'm just running that to my ground here, coming off my controller and connecting them directly to the battery ground. Then coming off of your pot box potentiometer, the wires will come over here, and the second and third position on your controller, and it doesn't matter which orientation you put them on, just put those two wires off your potentiometer onto your controller here, the second and third position. And then this first position, what I've done is ran a wire over to here, and that's power for the controller to come on. So I ran it here with the ignition wire. That way when I turn the ignition switch on, my controller powers up. And then don't forget, you need to put your bypass resistor there. That allows a little bit of juice to bypass to keep power in the controller, so you're not just full on to the controller when you hit the accelerator pedal. There's already a little bit of juice in there, and you're not going to blow your controller up. So that's how I've got everything wired up. And now I'm going to connect the battery and see what happens. Okay, I had to make a brace for the battery to set. This is a bit of an odd battery. It is a lithium ion battery. It is a 52 volt 50 amp hour battery, and my research on this said that it could run this golf cart for approximately between 15 and 30 hours depending on the use, or 15 and 30 miles. I'm sorry, 15 to 30 miles. I know those 100 amp hour batteries, you can ride a golf cart for up to 40 miles, but this thing is going to be flat surfaces, just cruising around, no major hill climbing, no kind of crap like that. It's just slow speeds. So I figured the 50 amp hour battery was more than enough. But it is a lithium ion battery. I had to make a brace to go all the way across there to set it down in, and I've done that. Turn the key on, put it in forward, and we have forward motion. Let that stop, let it come to a stop. Switch it to reverse, and we have reverse. And then the brakes work too. So there we have it. Everything wired up, everything's working properly. We've got forward, we've got reverse. So now it'll be on to the cosmetic stuff now that the mechanical stuff's done. Okay, now we're gonna get up on the cart, cut the key on, hit the gas, and here we go. Here we go, we're moving, we're moving. Here we go. Here we go. Yep, and we're rolling. Rolling across the yard. Running real good. So there you have it. The car is running. The golf cart is running good. Seems to have plenty of power. And I'll have more videos on this cart as I do other things like the converter, the top, the paint job, hooking up all the accessories, the lights and the radio and speakers and all. It has some underglow lights on it as well, and I'll hook up all that stuff and get it all going. I'm going to recover the seats a different color and all that stuff. Just bring it back to life, get it, well, it is back to life now, but get it looking good again, playing the part, looking the part and playing the part. Yeah, there we go. So that's another job done on this. The golf cart's running good. Woo-wee. Oh, man, yeah, she's got plenty of power. So there we go. We'll see you next time. Don't forget to thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, guys. Don't cost a dime. Helps me out a lot. Comment down below. Tell me what you think of this old raggedy cart. And we'll see you next time.